everybody had a little snafu on the first attempt. Hopefully the second attempt will be better. Of course, now I'm dealing with Tabby. She has decided to sit right on top of my lineups on my cards, so I'm going to move her to her perch. And she's not going to be happy about it. Now you knocked over all my cards. So I got to fix my cards and try not to roll over anybody like I did Bill Buckner the other week. Hold on, Tabby. Hold on. Oh yeah, you did kind of crinkle up a couple of these, bend a couple of corners here. So sorry about all that, folks. It's just there's a lot going live for you right there. That's why I don't like to do it, because too much stuff can happen and it just gets in the way of what I want to do. Hello, Mr. Guterman. How are you? Hello, Kenya. Good to see both of you. Let's see. I think I can. Let me see something here. I think I need to move this over just a hair to fit everything, so I can fit the dice tray in here as well, because that's obviously very important to fit that in, make sure everything shows the way it's supposed to. Yep, now you can see everything. A little bit of the lineup of the Cubs gets cut off a bit, but I'm not sure that's a big deal. More important is to show the dice tray. Trying to get an empty balance here between or happy medium between the two. That's as good as I'm going to be able to get, I do believe. My lights are causing a glare on the board, probably right in about here. There's a little line here and there's a little place up here, but hopefully the cards will be on that table most of the time, and that will take away from it. So we'll go ahead and go with it. Tabby is definitely not cooperating. She is right here next to me on her perch. She hasn't been here for a couple of games, and all of a sudden now she wants to be up here, so I've got to be on my game to try to react to that. Alright, let's do the ballpark effects. 1973 National League ballpark effects with the weather for Wrigley Field, and this is a day game in June for Wrigley Field. And let's see, Wrigley Field, Chicago in June. Right here, day game, 12 to 17 is going to be good. I'm sorry, 1 to 11 is good, 12 to 17 is average, and 18 to 20 is bad. Yeah, a bit of a shadow. I'll see what I can do with it, but like I said, Tabby is where I usually put my computer. Tabby is sitting, so I'm kind of cramped right now. All right, so 20 means we've got bad weather. So what does bad weather mean here at Wrigley Field in Chicago? Bad weather means singles are 1 to 11 and 1 to 8. Home runs are 1 to 3 and 1 to 11. So let me update the score sheet with that information. Lefties singles are 11 and righty singles are 8. All right, and then for home runs, lefties are 3, righties are 11. I thought Wrigley Field was somewhat symmetrical like that, but they're saying that the righties have a better chance to hit home runs. Just going by what I see. Let's look at the score sheet before we start. Nice clean score sheet before my bad penmanship ruins everything. You can see the Mets won this game real world 2-1. Looking at our pitcher-catcher interface, John Matlack is a +5. Ron Hodges is a -1, so we have +4 factor there. And for the Cubs, Bert Hooton is a 0, and Ken Rudolph is also a 0. So we have a 0 factor for Mr. Hooton. I do have all the cards for everybody who was active on this game, so I do have all the strat cards. Don't need a computer printouts or anything as far as I can tell, or to print off anybody else. I've already printed off one guy from the previous time the Cubs were on the video. Hello, Chuck. How you doing? Yeah, Tabby's behaving right now. She's just taking up space. That's what's kind of getting me. So if I want to be able to, let me see if I can move the computer sideways without. It's going to bump into the. Well, if somebody gets on third, I'll have to adjust it. But until somebody gets on third, I may not have to deal with that. So let's see if that makes it better or worse. Let's see. I tilted the wrong way. Let's try it this way. Let's see if this gets everything the way we need it. I'm going to try it without the light. Maybe it'd be better without the overhead light. That's always a possibility. Let's see how that does. Does that look like enough light, or is that too dark now? What do you guys think? Is that too dark? Do I need to have that light back on? Hello, Mike. Utah Mike, how are you? Is that bright enough, or do I need an overhead light to go with it? Obviously, when I'm playing, I'm fine, but I don't know how it's looking on the video. So, if we need the overhead light, looks fine this way. Okay, we'll do without the light because that light was causing lots of glare. It helps me when I'm playing solo without doing a video, but since we're doing a video, we'll keep it this way. All right, starting pitchers. Happy Hooten for the Cubs, 14-17 with a 3.69 ERA, and for the Mets, it's left-hander Jon Matlack, 14-16 with a 3.20 ERA. And one thing I noticed about the Mets is a lot of their fielders are horrible in this game. A lot of 4-rated fielders, both in the outfield and infield. So could be a lot of bad chances for X's if it comes up on Matlack's card for X chances. All right, I think we're ready to go. Got the ballpark effects done. So Bert Hooten, get those warm-up tosses going, and leading off will be Say Hey Willie Mays, center fielder. Not very good defensively. He's a 4+4 arm and an E4 error rating. So a 4 range and a +4 arm does not bode well for Mr. Willie Mays. But we'll see how he does with the stick. And until somebody gets on to go to third base, I'm going to move the dice tray over much more in line. And if somebody gets to third, I'll move it over again. But hopefully it's a little bit better now where you can see it better. All right, so Bert Hooten with the pitch. 4-8. 4-8 against a right-hander is a fly ball to center. And that's one away. One center fielder flies to the other. Willie Mays is retired. One away for Felix Mian. Felix Mian. And of course, the Giants, well, actually in '73, he would be on the Red Sox. No Red Sox game on the channel, but Orlando Cepeda recently passed away, and he would be on he was a DH for the 1973 Red Sox. 4-3, and that's a fly ball right field X. So the right fielder for the Cubs is Jose Cardinal, and his defensive rating is a 2E6. Pretty good. 2E6. 2-20, he'll definitely get to that. E6 and the 16, though, might be an issue. Let's check it out. E6 and a 16. Those high numbers can be troublesome. Nope, 14, 17, and 18 would be the error, but not a 16. So the play is made by Cardinal. So 2 up and 2 down on 2 flyouts. 1 to center, 1 to right. Now if Boswell flies to the left, we'll have a complete circuit. But here is the third baseman, Ken Boswell. He's also a 4-rated fielder, so not very good, obviously. Hooten, 4-7, this time to a lefty, and he struck him out. So no outfielder to worry about there at all. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. Half an inning to play. It is the Mets nothing, and the Cubbies coming to bat. And they will be facing the southpaw, Jon Matlack. And leading off for the Cubbies will be center fielder Rick Monday. Both teams leading off with their center fielders in this game. So Rick Monday. Let me see something here. I might be able to, I think I can improve some of the focus on this a little bit. I'm going to try anyway. I think that is a little bit better. Hopefully. All right, here we go. Rick Monday. Matlack to Monday. 5-8 against a left-hander. That's a straight-out single for Rick Monday off the Matlack card. Now, with the Mets to get that +4 advantage, so if he can get the lead, we would have a 15 here. +4 is a 19 being held, make him a 17. So he'd be a 17 if he can get the lead. However, he gets caught stealing on a 7 through 10 or a 12. He does get the lead on a 2 through 6. So it's kind of feast or famine. If we look at his card, he stole 5 bases, got caught 12 times. So not very good, but I mean, might as well take the chance. If you never try to run him, he's never going to get caught stealing, and those numbers won't be there. So let's see, 2 through 6 he gets the lead, 7 through 10 or a 12. Basically anything other than 11, then he will. 2 through 6 or 11, he's going to be not be caught stealing. Everything else he will be. That's a 10. He is caught stealing. So Rick Monday, I know it's bad odds, but got to try to be realistic. You would think they would try that. I mean, he did get caught. If you get caught stealing 12 times, you're obviously attempting quite a bit. And with the +4, it was a good gamble, I thought. Anyway, all right, here's Don Kessinger. 6'9", switch hitter batting right-handed is another single. So maybe they didn't want to do that. I don't know, but they're going to try to get the lead again because this one's much easier for Kessinger. He has much fewer caught stealings. Only one that's caught stealing is a straight up 10. 2 through 5 or a 12, he gets the lead. It's an 8, he does not get the lead. He will hold, and they will hold him on. And here is Jose Cardinal, and Tabby's just staring me down, asking me why I'm not paying her attention instead of the game. Well, Tabby, you can't have everything. All right. Matlock to Cardinal. 3-6 versus a lefty is a single, 2 stars, or 2 asteroids, as someone once said. So we're going to have to move this over to put the runner at third base. So runners are at the corners, and boy, they caught stealing really looming large now. There would be a run in already with nobody out, but there's one out and runners on the corners. Now Cardinal could get to try for the lead, so 2 through 5. Does not get the lead, so he will stay where he is. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Jim Hickman, cleanup batter. Matlack, 6'10". That's a ballpark single check. Singles for right-handers is 1 to 8. That's a 19. He's going to line it to shortstop for out number 2. So 2 down for Ron Santo, third baseman. Nothing going on there. Matlack to Santo, 5-6, and that's a fly to center to end the inning. So all of that, and the Cubs come away empty-handed. They get 3 hits, but the caught stealing cost them a run, basically. No runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 2 left. So at the end of 1, we got no score, but that's because the Cubs were over-aggressive on the base paths, and that cost them a run, obviously. So that'll bring up Bert Hooton back on the bump for inning number 2, and he'll be facing LeGrand Orange, Rusty Staub. Staub, the right fielder in this game. Hooton, 2-5 to Staub, and that's a straight out double for the Mets. So leadoff double for Rusty Staub. Rusty Staub with the double. He will not be held. He doesn't run all that well. And that'll bring up left fielder George Theodore. Don't know much about him. But Hooton will be facing Theodore. 3-8 is a 1 to 11 double. 12 to 20 is a single. That's a 5. It's a double. So back-to-back doubles puts the Mets in the lead 1-0. So George Theodore comes through with an RBI double. And of course, he will not be held at second either because he doesn't run very well. And it brings up John Milner. Nothing going on. The only thing I know about Theodore is that was the original or actual name of Beaver Cleaver. It was Theodore Cleaver. The only thing I can remember about Theodore. 2-8, and that's a 1 for a triple. Anything else, he flies to right. So that's going to be a fly out to right field for 1 away. 1 down, and that will send up the catcher Ron Hodges. Hooton to Hodges. 5-2, that's a fly to center again. 2 down, and that will bring up the shortstop Ted Martinez. Not sure why. I guess Harrelson must have been hurt in this part of the season, so they're using Ted Martinez and his 4E48 fielding. But they're hoping at least he can give him some offense. Hooton, 2-11 to Martinez's ground ball to third, and Santo will flip over to Hickman to end the inning. But a run on 2 hits, those back-to-back doubles, no errors and 1 left. Go to the bottom of the second. It is the Mets 1 and the Cubs nothing. So they've given John Matlack a lead to try to protect. Hello, Jimmy Jam. How you doing? He says, let's go Cubs. We'll see. I really don't care who wins this. Leading off for the Cubbies will be Carmen Fanzone, one of the more interesting names in this time of baseball. Carmen Fanzone. Matlack, 5'10", and that is a ground ball shortstop X. And again, we were just talking about Ted Martinez and his 4E48 fielding, and it's going to come into play right here. A 4E48. 4-19, though, he'll get to that. Question is the E48 and the 15. E48, and there is a 15 right here in the middle. E48, the 15 is an E1. So Ted Martinez boots it, and Fanzone will reach. Fanzone, no threat to steal. He will not even be held. And that will bring up the catcher, Ken Rudolph. So Fanzone reaches on the E6. Here's Rudolph. That's a 1. I know it doesn't look like a 1, but it is a 1 there. So that means possible wild pitch from Matlack. His wild pitch rating is a 5. And there's no 5 there, so no wild pitch. Interesting, Jeff. Interesting about Theodore. I did not, like I said, I don't know that much about Theodore. Just thought it had an interesting name. And let's see here. Runner not being held is Fanzone. So Matlack to Rudolph. 6'9", Matlack, not Matlock. If Matlock was pitching, he'd really be in trouble. Andy Griffith. 6'9". 6'9" is a single to center field. Now the question is, do they try to send him to third with nobody out? Fanzone is a 10. He would not be able to make him an 11. Center fielder arm, Willie Mays, though, is a +4. So that's a 1 to 15, and they're going to send him on a 1 to 15. And he's in there. So he makes it. Rudolph, being the slow runner he is going to stay at first base. So runners are at the corners now with nobody out. They took advantage of Willie's weak arm. And now Paul Popovich, the batter. Nobody being held. Infield back, they will need the out. 5-7 against a switch hitter batting right-handed is a ground ball second base X. Second baseman is Mian, and his fielding is a 2E10. The infield is back, remember, 2-9. So a 2 and a 9 on a 2 and a 9 is a G2, so that's going to be a force play. That's an 8, and he is an E10. That's a good play. It's going to be a force play. It's going to be 4-6. The run will score, but it's a 4-6 fielder's choice, as they can only retire Rudolph at second base. Fanzone will score to tie the game. It's an unearned run. Popovich reaches on the fielder's choice. They will not hold him. And now coming up with pitch rating card number 1 in a probable bunt situation is Hooten. He bunts at a B, but with the corners in, he's going to turn into a C. So we're going to have Hooten and his now C average try to put down a bunt. So first we'll make sure there's no wild pitches or anything. Nope, nothing going on. So we're going to the super advanced bunt chart with the corners in. White die says who fields it, and that would be the catcher. So Hodges is going to field this. See what happens. That's a 9, and he is a C. So a 9 and a C says 1 and 2. That means there's 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Now, do we want to keep the bunt on or not? That's the other thing. Stays with the bunt and the reading occurs again. It's a strikeout. You know, they're going to stick with the bunt anyway. They're going to try to bunt anyway. So we're going to see this time 5 means it's going to first base. So this is going to be Milner trying to charge for this one. That's an 8. C and an 8 is a good sacrifice. So sticking with it paid off. It's a good sacrifice. There are 2 outs now. It's going to go 3 to 4 on the sacrifice hit, as Milner throws to Mian covering. Rudolph takes second for out number 2. Jimmy Jam, my favorite team, has switched over the years. Back in the day, early 70s, this time when I'm playing right now, it was the Oakland A's, just because I like their uniforms and their long hair and mustaches and all that stuff. When I got to the late 70s, early 80s, I became a Padres fan, mainly because of Dave Winfield, Ozzie Smith, and Tony Gwynn. And then late 80s, I went back to being an Oakland fan because I liked Tony La Russa, and before finding out about steroids, I liked Canseco and McGuire. And then when La Russa and McGuire went to St. Louis, I became a St. Louis fan. But then once the Washington Nationals came into play, I pretty much became a Nationals fan at that point. So I guess I'm a Nationals fan, but I'm not really a fan of modern baseball all that much. But back in 2019, I was a Nationals fan. I was happy to see them win the World Series. Hello, Doug. How are you doing? All right, so Monday with 2 outs and a runner at second faces Matlock. First time up, Monday singled and was caught stealing. 5-4. 5-4 is a catcher X. That is Rudolph. I'm sorry, it's Hodges, my bad. Hodges is a 3E3. 3 and a 20. That should be okay, I would think. A 3 and a 20 is an F3. I'm sorry, look at the outfielder. My bad, let me get the catcher, not the outfielder. 3 and a 20 is a G2. So he gets to it. That's an 8. And Hodges is an E3. So that shouldn't be a problem. No, that's not a problem at all. So ground out, it's going to go 2 to 3 for scoring at home. And of course, you should be. So that's going to end the inning. So a run on 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left. So at the end of 2, we have not settled anything. It is 1-1. And John Matlack, the pitcher, will lead things off. He's using pitcher rating card number 2. Number 2. And I think he bats left-handed. I'm pretty sure he's not one of those guys that switches around to the right side. But if somebody knows for sure, they can let me know. Maybe I should look that up real quick, just to be on the safe side. Let's see if I can find out. Should have done that in advance, I guess. My quality assurance team is letting me down again. So let's see here. Let me look at Matlack and see if he bats right or left-handed. Let's see. Matlack. Matlack does bat left-handed. Okay, so no problems there. He does bat left. Nothing to worry about there. Okay, so lefty on Hooten righty. That's a 3-6, and that is a ground ball to short. And easily played by Kessinger for out number 1. That'll flip the order over to Willie Mays. Mays flew out to center his first chance against Hooten. 3-5, and that's a straight out single for Say Hey. I don't think he's no threat to steal whatsoever. He stole 1 base and that was it. So not much of a threat to steal. So they won't even hold him on. And that'll bring up Felix Millan. Hooten, 6-10, and that's a fly to center field X. Rick Monday. Monday is a 2E10. 2 and a 19, he'll get to that. The E10. 2 and a 19 is an F3, where nobody's going anywhere. And let's see, it's a 10, and he is an E10. Is that correct? 10 and a 10, yep, sure is. Nope, no 10. There's a 16, 3, 14, and 18. But no 10. So good play for Rick Monday for out number 2. Brings up Ken Boswell. Hello, Tascuni, how are you? Hooten, 6-6, and that's a walk. Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the lefty side. He strikes out Boswell. He walks a righty, but he strikes out the lefty. So how about that? Boswell down on strikes. And now Boswell wants to identify as a right-handed hitter, but it's not going to work. No runs that hit, no errors, and 1 left. Till the bottom of the 3rd, still 1-1. And of course, at the end of the third inning, I will give a score sheet recap, just to recap what happened in the first 3 innings. For anybody that came in late, I'll recap the scoring stuff anyway, not everything, but just the scoring stuff. All right, so Don Kessinger is your leadoff hitter. He singled his first time up, but was stranded at third base. Matt Lack, 5-10 to a switch hitter batting right-handed as a ground ball shortstop extra. Back to Martinez and his 4 E48s. 4-3, that's a base hit guaranteed. Now let's check the E48 and the 10. E48, there is no 10, but it is going to be a base hit for for Don Kessinger, as he got it by Ted Martinez. So Kessinger 2 for 2. And now we'll see if, again, Kessinger can get the lead. 2 through 5 or 12, he gets the lead. At 10, he gets caught stealing. That's a 6, he does not get the lead. So he will not go anywhere. He will be held, but he won't go anywhere. And that brings up Jose Cardinal. Well, where's the white die? I'm missing a white die. That would help to have that, wouldn't it? All right, 3-8 against the lefty is a strikeout. Cardinal out on strikes, 1 away. And that brings up Hickman. And I generally play it if the guy doesn't get the lead on the first try. I don't do it anymore unless he goes to another base. And while he's still at first base, he's just going to sit there. He's not going to try every single at bat. I just don't like to do that. So, hello, Mr. RJL. How are you? Hello, Robert. Don't forget, Robert's going to start his 1969 season inside pitch on Monday night. Be there at B Square, Crosley Field, Dodgers and Reds. 1969 inside pitch. All right, 3-7 for Hickman against the lefty is a walk. So now the Cubs put 2 on with only 1 out. Oh, and now Tabby wants to get up here. Tabby, what are you doing? You're in my way. Get down. Get down. No, get down. I didn't say sit down. I said get down. All right, we got a feline delay. 1 moment. I want to get her out of here without her scratching up and tearing up everything. So she probably ruined my focus on top of it. So let's get you out of here. You're going to mess everything up, Tabby. Get over here. Sit on your perch where you're supposed to be. When you're needed, I'll call for you. Otherwise, stay where you are. And now she's really, now I knocked, oh, there it is. Okay, couldn't find my little out thing there. Okay. So there is 1 out. 2 on and 1 out. She's not happy that I moved her either, so I'm going to make sure it looks like the focus is still okay on that. That brings up Ron Santo. Santo is your batter. Nobody being held right now. Matt Lack, 2-7. Santo against the lefty on a 2-7. It's ground ball shortstop A with a plus sign, but nobody's being held. It's a 6-4-3 double play. So just like that, the Cubs turn what could have been a run scoring opportunity into a double play that ends the inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. We played 3, and the score remains Cubs 1 and Mets 1. So before we start the 4th inning, we'll do our score sheet recap, and you can laugh at my lousy penmanship if you like. It's up to you. Nothing happened in the first. Nobody scored in the top of the first for the Mets. Top of the second, we had back-to-back doubles. Staub led off with a double, and Theodore drove him home with a double, and that's been the extent of the Mets scoring. For the Cubs, Monday led off the game with a single, but was caught stealing when I tried to get the lead. And then Kessinger, which was big because Kessinger and Cardinal came through with back-to-back singles that would have scored the run, so they got nothing. Fan Zone led off the bottom of the second, and a Ted Martinez error allowed him to reach. Rudolph with the base hit sent him to third, and then on a fielder's choice, 4-6 fielder's choice ground out, he scored. And that's been the extent of the scoring. So there you're up to date. You are now up to date on the scoring after 3 innings. We are tied. Yep, Tabby could be the Billy Goat for the Cubs. We never know. Okay, Rusty Staub, Legrand Orange, or I think that's what they called him. He will lead things off. Staub, his first time up, doubled and scored. 6-10, and against a left-hander, that's a fly center field X. That is Rick Monday's a 2E10. 2 and a 13 is good all day long. Let's check the E10 for a center fielder. You need a 3, 4, 14, or 18. That is a 10, so that's a good play. And to be official, a 2 and a 13 is officially an F2, but it doesn't matter because nobody's on base. So nice play out there for Rick Monday for out number 1. That's going to bring up Fan Zone. I'm sorry, Theodore, who doubled. RBI double his first time up. Hooten 2-3, and that is a ground ball first base C. So we're going to say that Hickman had to range for it a little bit, and he will flip to the pitcher Hooten covering 3-1. Do that on all ground ball C's. On first base ground ball C's, I should say. Just a house rule, nothing in the rule book about it, just a little house rule. And it really doesn't matter. Here's Milner, 110, and that's a walk. So a 2-out walk to Milner. Don't know if the Mets can have a 2-out rally here, but they do have a 2-out walk to Milner for Ron Hodges. Milner not a threat to steal, so he will not be held. And Ron Hodges is your batter. Nothing on the Havoc. Hooten to Hodges. 5-8 versus a lefty is a ground ball to second. That's going to end the inning. Inning is over. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 4th, and we are still tied at 1. Again, the Mets won this game real world 2-1, so it's kind of sort of going that way right now, but we got a long way to go. And Carmen Fan Zone, who reached on the Martinez error and scored, he will lead things off. Against Matlack, 6-8. That's a 1-4 single. That's an 11, so it's a ground ball to third, and Boswell will take care of it. 1 away for Ken Rudolph, the catcher. Don't know if he has a red nose or not. Matlack, 1-6. That's a ground ball to short. Martinez will take care of that. There's no error check this time, so he's okay. Here's Paul Popovich, number 8 hitter. He got an RBI ground out on the fielder's choice. 110 against the lefty is a ground ball to third. Easy play there for Boswell, and it's 3 easy ground outs for Matlack. And at the end of 4, we're still at 1-1. So we go to the top of the 5th. Both pitchers have 7th inning is their fatigue inning, so they're nowhere near in jeopardy. Here's Martinez. He grounded to third his first time up. 3-8 rather against the righty. He's going to strike out. So Martinez with the whiff, 1 away. It's going to bring up Matlack and his pitcher hitting card number 2 for Matlack. And he grounded to short his first time. 1-7. He's going to strike out this time. So column 1 on the pitcher hitting cards are usually pretty bad. So 2 up and 2 down for Willie Mays. Say hey, Willie. And he is 1 for 2 with a fly out the center and a sink. Hooten, 5-4. Ground ball third base X. That is the third baseman Santo. Santo was a 3 E23. 3 and 18, he'll get to it. The E23 and the 16 could be problematic, and is not. E23 at third base, 11, 13, 15, and 18, but not a 16. So good play for Santo. So he takes care of Willie Mays. 1-2-3 inning. Nothing doing for the Mets. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Still tied at 1. Definitely does, RJO. I'm 1 year away from 60, so I know how you feel. All right, pitcher hitting card number 1 for Bert Hooten, as he will lead off. He had a sacrifice bunt his first time up. This one off Matlack's card, 5-5, is a strikeout. So Hooten strikes out against Matlack. And there's 1 away. Back to the top of the order for Rick Monday. Tabby appears to have settled on her perch and seems to be content just to sit there. So hopefully it'll stay that way. Matlack to Monday, 1-5, and that's a walk. So Rick Monday draws the 1-out walk. Now he got caught stealing, trying to steal last time, so we're not going to get fooled again like the Who sang. We're not going to get fooled again. He will have to be held, but they're not going to send him anywhere. So here's Kessinger. So holding the runner with Kessinger a righty batting, the second baseman Mian is responsible for holding the runner if we get an X chance. Matlack 6-11, and that is a walk. So back-to-back base on balls for Matlack. And that'll bring up Cardinal, and again, Mian's responsible for holding the runner at second base. Nothing going on there. Matlack to Cardinal, 3-4. Ground ball, third base A. Just what the doctor ordered, around the horn, 5-4-3, double play. It's going to go Boswell, Mian to Milner to end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. At the end of 5, it is 1-1. One-to-one game, and Felix Mian will lead things off. All right. Felix the Cat. He is flown to right and flown to center. 5-6, and he's going to strike out. There's a dot there, but we're in the 6th inning, so he is not tired. So Mian will take a seat. Or as one famous announcer said, he will grab some bench. Ken Boswell. He is 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. 2-2, and that's a ground ball to second plus injury. So there will be an injury check. He would only miss this game. He would not miss, future games, but he is susceptible to being injured in this particular game. So we will check his injury status. Boswell. Let's check his injury for the batters. So we come over here to our injury chart in the rule book. Page 18 of the rule book. We got batter injury. So 1-4, he'll be okay. 5-6, he just misses this. Well, anything 5 or more, he's going to be out of the game. So that's what we're doing. 1-4, he gets to stay in. 12, he's got to come out of the game. So he won't miss any future games, obviously, just this one game, because in the replay we're not doing injuries, we're doing as played. But I do injuries of the day of the game. So the Mets will need to make a substitution for Boswell. And the actual result for Boswell was he grounded to second. So 2 down on that. And now we need to figure out who can play third base. And it looks like, to me, it's going to be the guy who would normally play third base, Wayne Garrett. So Wayne Garrett's going to come in and take over at third base for the Mets. So I have to update my score sheet with the ratings as well. So let's see, Boswell is not there anymore. Now it is Garrett. So Wayne Garrett is on. Let's update his fielding. Garrett runs at a 12. He fields a 4.30, so he's worse than Boswell. Boswell is a 4.12. Garrett's a 4.30. But he had 504 at bats, so that's who we're going with. All right, so that brings up Rusty Staub. 2 outs and the base is clear. Hooten, 6-7 against the lefty. It's a ground ball, second base X, and that is going to be Mr. Popovich. Actually, accidentally wrote him down as a shortstop twice, didn't I? Popovich is actually at second base. Surprised somebody didn't catch that. He's actually at second base. It's Popovich. He's a 3.19. 3-1 is going to be a base hit for Rusty Staub. Let's check for an error. That's a 9, and he is an E19. There is no 9, but it is a base hit for Rusty Staub. 2-out single for Rusty Staub. He will not be held at first base. But he does reach on the 2-out single for George Theodore. Hooten to Theodore. 5-4, and that is a ground ball third base X, so we're looking at Santo. Santo is a 3 E23. 3 and 18, he'll get to that to end the inning, as long as there's no error. So let's see, 3 and 18 is officially a G1. That is a 9, and he is an E23. Third baseman, E23. There is no 9, so it is going to be a ground out to end the inning. So Theodore is out. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 left. Go to the bottom of the 6th. We are still tied at a run apiece. Again, the real game ended 2-1 Mets, so this is following right along to plan. And Jim Hickman will lead things off, followed by Santo and Fan Zone. 1-9 against the lefty, struck him out. So Matlack with the strikeout. Brings up Santo. Matlack, 4-8 against the righty. 1-2 is a double, 3-20 is a single, so that's just going to be a single. A single for Ron Santo. He's not much of a threat to run, so he's not going to go anywhere. He stole 1 base, got caught twice, so. And he gets picked off. He gets caught stealing automatically on a 10, so they're not even going to try it. They're not going to hold him. Here is Carmen Fan Zone. Mets looking to turn a double play again. 3-2, and they just did it. Ground ball third base, A plus injury, so looks like Fan Zone might be out of the game too. As that is a 5-4-3 around the horn double play to end the inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and nobody left. We played 6, and the score is still 1-1, but we're checking now for an injury for Fan Zone. Go right back to the injury chart. Once again, and again, a 1 through 4. He gets to stay in the game. Anything else, he's got to come out. It's an 11, he's got to come out. So Fan Zone is going to be lifted. So each team now with 1 injury. So they need a new left fielder to do the Cubs. Let's see who's going to play left field. Billy Williams is your default, but they sat him against a lefty. So I don't know if they would, if he was weak against lefties, or they just want to give him a day off or whatever. But now that we're coming into the 7th inning, we can substitute freely. So let's see who we're going to go with. I'm thinking Billy Williams. He makes the most sense. He had 576 at bats with 20 home runs. So we're going with Billy Williams. He will take over in left field for Fan Zone. He's also a much better defender. A 4 instead of a 3 instead of a 4, and a +1 arm versus a +2 arm. So Billy Williams, who thought he had the whole day off, has to come in and play the last portion of the game. And he is a 3 with a +1 arm and an E5 rather, which is much better than the 15 that Fan Zone had. So much better defender. Runs at a 12. Okay, so Billy Williams it is. Now the new left fielder, Billy D. Williams. He's your new left fielder. And we'll do a recap. And although really nothing happened in those 3 innings, there were no runs scored at all. So the biggest thing that happened was 2 injuries. 1 to Boswell and 1 to Fan Zone. So we are stuck at a 1-1 score. And for anybody that's curious about these little slashes, just what I use for my totals. The first to the left of the slash are the hits. To the right of the slash are left on base. So at the end of the game, I can easily total those up without having to do a bunch of number crunching at the end. So now we're going to start at the top of the 7th, which is the fatigue inning for both pitchers. So we got to keep an eye out on fatigue, potentially. John Milner, batter. Milner 0 for 1 with a walk. 3-8 for Milner against the right-hander, struck him out. So Hooten with the K on Milner. And that'll bring up Ron Hodges, the catcher. Hodges is 0 for 2. He flew out to center in the 2nd and grounded to 2nd in the 4th. 2-4, and that's another strikeout. So even though Hooten's in his fatigue inning, he comes back with 2 strikeouts to start the inning, showing he has got some juice left. Here's Ted Martinez. He is over 2, ground out and a strikeout. 5-8 against the right-hander is another strikeout. There's a dot there, but he hasn't given up anything, so he's not tired. Hooten strikes out the side here in the top of the 7th. And boy, he's not looking like he's fatigued at all. He's looking fresh as a daisy, as a matter of fact, the way things are going. And we go to the bottom of the 7th with a 1-1 ball game. Can't get much tighter than that. And let's see here. I don't really have any music queued up for the 7th inning stretch, so I think we're just going to keep rolling. This was I had a lot of stuff to do this morning, so this was kind of an impromptu game, thinking I was going to start at 2 and ended up not starting until 2:30. But at least I got it in. I was going to record it last night for upload, but people seem to like the live stream better because you can chat more and I can actually talk to you rather than type at you. So maybe that works out better that way. Here's Ken Rudolph, the batter. 6-6, and that is a ground ball to short. Martinez will handle it. 1 away. Here comes Popovich. Now the pitcher Hooten is on deck, but with a 1-1 game, it's kind of hard to take him out the way he's pitching. Popovich, 5-7. Switch hitter batting right-handed. Ground ball second base X. That's Felix Millan. 2-10. 2-9 should be okay. 2-9 is actually a G2, so that's good enough. 7 and an E10. No error, so good play for Felix Millan. He will take care of Popovich, and now with 2 outs and the bases clear, they're going to go ahead and let Hooten swing away. Kind of pointless to pinch hit for him, plus he's pitching so well. They'll leave him in there. And it's off the pitcher card anyway. 6-9. 6-9's a single, so how about that? So Hooten gets a hit off of Matlack's card. Welcome to Strat-O-Matic. So he gets a hit off of Hooten's card, only due to the magic of the old 50-50. So of course he will not be held. And here's Rick Monday. Matlack looking to get Monday out of here. That's a 2-12 for Rick Monday, and that's a split chance on the triangle. 1-14 is a single. That's a 10, so it's a single, 1 star. And that's going to put runners at first and second and keep the inning going for Don Kessinger. Of course, nobody's being held on. There are 2 outs, but that's 2 dings against Matlack, so he's got to be careful. Approaching fatigue very quickly. 2, chance for a balk or a pickoff. I'm sorry, balk or pass ball. That's a 1, so we're checking balks, but he's got a 0 balk rating, so nothing to worry about there. Matlack, 2-8 to Kessinger. Fly to center, that's going to end the inning. So Matlack pitches around the mess. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. He played 7, and it's still 1-1. Now, Mr. Roberts, since you are the de facto Mets fan in this stream, I will let you do the managing. John Matlack is scheduled to lead off. He's scheduled to lead off the top of the 8th, but we also have pinch hitters over here. You got Cranepool and Gosker from the left side, Beecham, Dyer, Fregosi, and Hahn from the right side to lead off the top of the 8th in a 1-1 game. And Matlack is 1 or 2 batters away, 2 hits away, or whatever you want to call it, from being fatigued. So if you want me to pinch hit for Mr. Matlack, I will. If you want me to let him be, then we'll do that too. But you are the de facto Mets fan, so I'm deferring to you if you want to chime in. Gosker hit 239, and so did Cranepool. They both hit 239. Let him hit. Okay. We're going to let him hit. They both hit 239. Okay. So Matlack will hit. This is, after all, 1973, not 2023. So Hooten to Matlack. And it's off the pitcher card anyway. 4-12. It's a fly to center field for 1 away. So probably a good call there, Robert, letting him hit, because a pinch hitter would have just made an out. At least a lefty would have. righty would have also, they'd have both flown out to center field. So didn't matter who you brought in, it was going to be an out. So here's Say Hey Willie. 2-7 for Willie, and he hits a ground ball to short. That is played by Kessinger for out number 2. Willie now 1 for 4, but 2 quick outs here in the 8th for Felix Millan. And the new third baseman, Wayne Garrett, is on deck. 3-9 for Millan is a fly to left, and that's going to end the inning. So 3 up and 3 down. Go the Mets. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Still 1-1. Again, the Mets won this game 2-1 in real world, so Strat-O-Matic to this point is going along pretty well. So now Matlack gave up 2 hits in the previous inning, so he's got 2 more batters to go before he tires. Either hits or walks or runs or whatnot. So here's Cardinal. 5-6 against a right-hander is a fly to center. Hauled in by Willie Mays. 1 down. Got to bring up Jim Hickman. Might be a solo home run and ends this thing. We'll have to wait and see. Here's Hickman. 110, and that's a ground ball back to Matlack. Easy play there. 2 up and 2 down for Ron Santo. Santo's got some power against the lefties. Get that column 2. But we're in under Matlack. 5-6. That's a fly to center. 1-2-3 inning for Matlack. So far, Mr. Roberts seems to have pulled the right trigger by leaving him in there. So we've played 8 innings of play, and we're still 1-1 as we head to the top of the 9th. Hooten has not had any marks against his fatigue, so he's definitely still good to go. And Wayne Garrett will lead off the inning. He came in for the injured Boswell, so it's his first at bat against Hooten. 1-7 is a strikeout. Out number 1. 1 away, so maybe Legrand Orange will put 1 out. Shall see, although in 73 he only had 15 home runs, so he's mostly a doubles hitter. 1-9, and he's going to ground to short in this situation. Kessinger puts it away. 2 down for George Theodore. Hooten 4-3, and that's a fly ball right field X. That's Cardinal. Cardinal's a 2-6. 2-6 probably gets to it. 2-6 is a F2, so he did get to it, and that's a 5. So we got a rare play F2. Rare play F2. So let's go over here to F2 for the rare play. The outfielder catches the fly ball for an out. If there's a runner on third base, he is. So there's no runner on, so there's nothing to worry about, just a regular fly out. So nobody on base, it's just a regular fly out to center field. I'm sorry, to left field to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down. How do you like that? All right. So we go to the bottom of the 9th. And Robert, anytime you want me to bring in either Capra, Hennigan, McGraw, or Sadecki, let me know. Otherwise, I'll stick with Matlack. As we start the bottom of the 9th, it'll be Billy Williams, his first at bat since coming in for the injured fan zone. He will get his first crack at John Matlack. He can end the game with 1 swing of the bat. Matlack 5-4 is a catcher X. That's Ron Hodges. Hodges is a 3E3. 3-12. Might be like a pop-up or something. Let's see. 3. Oops, wrong chart. It's the catcher chart here. 3 and a 12 is a P/F, but nobody's on base. There's no chance of a pass ball. That's a 9, and he is an E. Where'd it go? He's an E3. There is no 9, just a P/F. So if the pass ball does not occur, the batter hits a foul out. So it's a foul out to the catcher, Hodges, for 1 away. So Williams is out of there. That's going to bring up Ken Rudolph. And I wonder if the Cubs might start thinking about pinch hitting. Rudolph only hits 206. Their backup catcher is Hundley, so they might be looking to go to their bench, try to spark some offense. Randy Hundley doesn't hit much better, but they can bring somebody else in to hit, and then they can bring in Glenn Beckert to hit, and Randy Hundley will stay in the game to catch. So Beckert hits, Hundley stays in the game to catch. So Hundley will take over behind the plate. But Beckert will do the hitting because Hundley hit 226 and Beckert hit 255. So they're going with Beckert. Going with Beckert against Matlack. 2-4, and that's a ballpark single check. That's an 11 for a right-hander on a single. He needed an 8, not an 11, so it's just going to be a liner short for out number 2 for Paul Popovich, second baseman. Matlack, 4-8. Look at this. 1 to 2 is a double, 3 to 20 is a single. That's an 11, so it's a single for Popovich. A 2-out single, and now we'll get a pinch hitter for Bert Hooton, as we have to. I mean, got a guy on, chance to win the game. You got to go to the bench at this point. Try to get that key hit. Now, everybody from the left side, except for Cleo James, who hit 111 from the right-hand side, so they're pretty much stuck with using a lefty out the bench, and it's going to be. Boy, they don't have a whole lot here. We go with Pat Bork. He hit 209, and he's got some hits against lefties, so we're going to go with Bork. James is the last resort. He hit 111. It's computerized card, so he's my last resort. But right now they're going to go with Bork. Pinch hit for Hooton. And then they'll need a new pitcher in the 10th if it goes extras. All right, runners at first, so we got to make sure there's nothing going on there. There's not. So Matlack to Bork. 3-5, and he's going to strike out to end the inning. We are actually going to extra innings. 1-1. 9 innings, not enough to decide it. Of course, now Bert Hooton is out of the game, so the Cubs will have to go to their bullpen and figure out who they want to bring in. Let's see who is the scheduled hitter for the Mets. It's going to be Milner, Hodges, and Martinez, so lots of lefties. So it looks like the Cubs will go their one left-hander, Dave LaRoche. 4-1 with a 5.82 ERA and 4 saves, but they're going to play the percentages and go with LaRoche. So LaRoche is going to come in. Hooton pitched 9 innings, only gave up 1 run, but has a no decision to show for it. And let's see what they want to do here. It's going to be Milner, Hodges, and Martinez. So they do have some righties off the bench, Robert, if you want to pinch hit for anybody. Milner hit 239. That's his card against the lefties. If you want to go to a right-hander off the bench to take his place and come in the game to play, let's see if they got to play first base. They have Fregosi could play first base, or Cranepool could play first base. Fregosi at 234. And that's his card against the lefties. So look at the blue and see what you would prefer. Those are probably the 2 best options there from the right side. Actually, Jim Beecham can play first base as well. It might be a better option, Jim Beecham. He might be the guy that you want to pinch hit for Milner, but you can let me know. You're the Met guy. So I will concede to you as to what you want. Looks like my focus might be a little bit off, so let's see about fixing that. Okay, you let me choose. Okay, good, you try. All right, I'm gonna do what I think the Mets would do, and that is pinch hit with Jim Beecham, who's also a better defender. I think Milner mostly played against righties, so we're gonna have Jim Beecham pinch hit and take over at first base. For Milner. Milner was a 4.E16. Beecham is a 3.E30. And of course he hits better against lefties than than Milner did. All right, so LaRoche against Beecham as the wheels are turning in both dugouts. LaRoche 2-6 against Beecham. The lefty, he draws the walk. So Beecham draws the leadoff walk. Now he doesn't run very well at all, so they could pinch run for him and put somebody else at first base. That's also a possibility, but I don't know who they have on the bench that can still run. Most of their bench guys are pretty slow. Don Hahn runs out of 14, but he's on the left. I'm going to leave him in there because I want to keep Don Hahn for pinch hitting purposes. So Beecham will be the runner at first base. Here comes Ron Hodges, the 260 hitter, so I think they're going to leave him in there. He's not a good bunter. Well, actually, he's a decent bunter. Corners are in. That would make him a C bunter if they wanted to bunt. Interesting call here. I think we're going to have Ron Hodges bunt. So we'll bunt. The first one for any havoc. There is none. So he's going to bunt. And the 5 means on the bunt is going to be fielded by the first baseman, Hickman. Now he needs a good bunt. He is a C bunter, so he needs pretty much to stay 8 or less. And he does. It's an 8. That's a good sacrifice. As a C bunter, that's a good sacrifice. So it's going to be, again, a sacrifice hit 3-4. And that's going to put the go-ahead run Beecham at second base with 1 out. And Ted Martinez, your batter. Right-handed hitter, so they're going to let him hit. They would pinch hit for Matlack on deck, though. They have to pinch hit for Matlack at this point. LaRoche, 5-12 to a right-hander. Split chance, 1-12 to single, but that's a 17, so liner to short. And that is out number 2. And now you hate to take Matlack out. He went 9 innings solid, but when you got the go-ahead run in scoring position and 2 outs, you kind of have to. So you got to be able to make that call. And let's see who's going to come in to hit from the right-hand side. They don't have a whole lot, but they're going to go with Don Hahn. He hits pretty decently against lefties. So Don Hahn is your pinch hitter for the Mets for Matlack. He is the pinch hitter. A base hit here could give the Mets the lead. Now the runner at second base is Hodges. He only runs at 11. He's not being held, makes him a 12. 2 outs to make him a 14. So to get a base hit could be enough to get it done. But we'll see. LaRoche to Hahn. That's a 4-7 against a right-hander. That's a single for a 1. Anything else he lines out, that's a 3. So he lines it to third. And Hahn is retired to end the inning. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 10th. Still 1-1. And now the Mets will need a new pitcher, as Matlack went 9 innings but has nothing to show for it. So coming up for the Cubbies, it'll be Rick Monday, Kessinger, and Carnell, lefty, switch, and righty, followed by some other righties. So the Mets are going to go to Buzz Capra, right-hander. He was 2-7 with a 3.86 ERA and 4 saves. So Buzz Capra, that's what all the buzz is about. It's Buzz Capra. And again, Beecham is the new first baseman in place of Milner. And he is better defensively. So he's at first base in place of Milner. Capra is your new pitcher. And we need a pinch hitter for LaRoche because it's his turn at the plate. Or did I? No, I'll take it back. They pinch hit for him last time. So they pinch hit for Hooten, so they didn't need that. I just didn't write the out in there for whatever reason. So it is actually going to be the top of the order, Rick Monday. So it's Rick Monday against Buzz Capra. Bottom of the 10th, tied at 1. Mets won the real game 2-1. Don't know if it's extra innings or not. Capra, 210, and that's a ballpark single check for Rick Monday, 1-11. That's a 16, though. It's just going to be a fly ball to right field. We're out number 1. So 1 down for Kessinger. Joel. Didn't remember seeing you in there, or maybe I was missing you in there. Sorry about that. 5'3", switch hitter, fly ball left field X. That is the left fielder Theodore. He is a 3E6. 3 and a 12, I believe he gets to that, no problem. He does. A 3 and a 12 is an F2. That's a 6, and he is an E6. So no problem. 3, 4, 14, 17, and 18 are errors, not a 6. So it's a good play for Theodore, and Kessinger is retired. So a fly to right and a fly to left, and here comes Cardinal. Five, 6, and that is a strikeout for Capra. 1, 2, 3 inning for Buzz Capra. So we go to the 11th. Still nothing going on. It's 1-1. Coming back out is LaRoche. And he'll be facing top of the order, Willie Mays. Say hey. It's his 5th at bat. Looking for dramatics against LaRoche. 2-7, and that's a ground ball to short. One away. Now I'm running out of room. My score sheet, these baseball sim research score sheets only go to 10 innings, so I'm kind of out of room. So I'm just kind of winging it from here. Here is Felix Mian. Oops. 6'8" against a right-handed hitter is a single for Felix Mian. And he's looking to run. No, he's not looking to run. I thought he was a better base stealer than this. He stole 2, caught 2. 4, he gets the jump. 12, he gets caught. If he gets the jump, he's only a 1 to an 11. And actually Roach is a -6 hold, so that takes care of that notion right there. Mian not going anywhere. He will be held, but he's not going to go anywhere. And Wayne Garrett is your batter against LaRoche. Lefty on lefty. 6-9, and that's a ground ball, shortstop X. Shortstop in this case is Kessinger. And Kessinger is a 2, but he's responsible for the runner, so now he's a 3 because they were holding the runner with the lefty batter up. He is now a 3. 3 and a 16 doesn't matter, you're going to get to it anyway. 3 and a 16 is a G1 regardless. That's a 9, and Kessinger is a E31. And there is no 9, so it's a double play, 6-4-3 to end the inning. So Kessinger with a fine play takes care of the Mets. 6-4-3. So no runs, a hit, no errors, and nobody left thanks to the double play. That's going to be all for LaRoche. His day is done. And coming up for the Cubbies, it'll be Hickman, Santo, and Williams against Buzz Capra in his 2nd inning of work. Gabby is perked up now saying, what, free baseball? Free baseball? So here is Capra to Hickman for 8, and that is a leadoff walk to Hickman. So Hickman draws the leadoff base on balls. He does not run well at all. The Cubs may very well be looking for a pinch runner. I think they almost have to try to get somebody into scoring position that can run, because Hickman only runs at a 9, so they're taking Hickman out of there, and they will look to somebody that might be able to run. Let's see who they're going to use to run here. If they assume they have anybody that can run. And do they have anybody to play first base? That's the other thing. I got to make sure somebody can play first base before I do all this fancy maneuvering. Somebody's got to be able to play. Well, Billy Williams could play first base in a pinch. So they're going to pinch run with Gene Heiser. Gene Heiser runs at a 15. So Heiser will pinch run. He's a 174 hitter, but he can run. So Heiser is your pinch runner for Hickman. And let's see, Heiser will stay in the game to play left field. Billy Williams will move to first base. That's what we'll have to do. So Heiser is your, boy, the score sheet is really bad now. Heiser is a 3-0 and an E6. He runs at a 15, so that's why he's in there. Ron Santo, the next batter, is not a bunter, so you're going to have him swing away. Heiser could get caught on a 9. He really doesn't steal well, but he runs well, so they will hold him, but they will not try to steal. And Ron Santo is your batter against Capra. Infield looking to turn the double play. Capra, 111 for Santo. Ground ball to first. It's a 3-6-3 double play, just what the doctor ordered. 3-6-3 DP. So Santo fails miserably on that one. And with 2 outs and the bases clear, it's Billy Williams. Capra 4-9, and that's a ground ball to second to end the inning. Neon will take care of it. Nothing doing for the Cubbies through 11, so I'm going to keep this one open until the final inning, so I won't fill anything else out. Just keep it like it is. And we need a new pitcher for the Cubbies. Capra has good relief endurance, so he's going to stay out there a little bit longer, I do believe. So let's see who's coming in for the Cubbies. They have righty Aker could come in. He's like their closer, but when you're extra innings, you really don't have a closer. You're just going with the best you have. Actually, Bob Locker is the closer. So they're going to go with Bob Locker. Bob Locker was 10-6 with a 2.54 ERA and 18 saves, but there's no save opportunity when you're the home team in extra innings. So they will go with Bob Locker. And Locker will be facing, and I forgot to put in Hundley here as the new catcher. Forgot about that. So it's going to be Staub, Theodore, and Beecham. Due up. Hundley's the new catcher for the Cubs. I don't know why I had him over there. Hundley's a new catcher for the Cubs. Let me make sure I got this straight. Okay. Yeah, so Hundley's actually going to hit next because he replaced Rudolph. He is actually the hitter for next time. Okay. So, coming up for the Mets, it'll be Rusty Staub, George Theodore, and Jim Beecham. Top of the 12th rather. And now my computer PC says low battery, so let me get the plug and plug this in. I was thinking the game would be over by now. I didn't really feel like plugging it in, but now I'm going to have to. So, slight computer power break. Get this plugged in. Make sure we don't cut off in the middle of an extra inning game. We'll get going here with this top of the 12th. I don't know, when you have 15 innings, is there a second, 7th inning stretch at the bottom of the 14th? Do the teams do that? I don't know. I think they do, but I'm not sure. All right, Tabby's making noise. She wants me to hurry up and finish, but Tabby, I can't control the dice. So, Kenyon, if this game goes to a 13th inning, I think I will stand up because I've been sitting down the whole time, so I think I would probably do some sort of stretch and take care of Tabby because she's really getting in my face, looking at me, staring at me, wondering why I'm not paying her any attention. And here's Locker to Staub, 111. That's a foul out to the catcher, and that's going to be caught by Hundley. So 1 down, and that'll bring up Theodore. Locker to Theodore, 1-9. That's a strikeout plus injury, so Theodore might be gone too. Let's check the injury. This could be a battle of attrition the way it's going now. 1-4 again. He could stay in the game. He does not. He's going to miss the remaining of the game, so Theodore is gone. And the Mets will need a new left fielder. It looks like it's going to be Gosker. Jim Gosker will come in and play left field for Theodore. So Gosker it is. Lee Gosker. Hopefully he's not a grouch. Gosker the grouch. So it's Jim Gosker He will come in and play left field for Theodore. He's a little bit better defender as well. He's a 3-0 E9 instead of a 3+2 E6. So Gosker is on with 2 outs, and Theodore is out of there. And that'll bring up Jim Beecham near the top of the 12th. So 3 injuries in this game. Locker 1-6 to Beecham, struck him out. That's going to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 12th. Nothing doing. And Buzz Capra back out. And he'll be facing Hundley, Popovich, and a pinch hitter for Locker. 5-7 against the righty. Ground ball second base X. That's Mian. He is a 2E10. 2 and a 9 is good. And the E10 and a 15. There's a 16, 17, and 18, but no 15. So it's good play. And the 2-9 ends up being a G2 officially. Doesn't matter, nobody's on base. So nice play by Mian. And that will bring up Popovich, followed by a pinch hitter. Forgot to mark off Heiser. He's in the game already for Hickman, so I forgot to. Actually, he's in left field. It's Heiser. And Williams is now the first baseman. So let's get all that straight. So on the bench for the Cubs is Adrian Garrett, a lefty, and James, a righty. So it looks like Adrian Garrett is picking up a bat. Capra 6-6 to a switch hitter, and that's trouble. 1 to 5 is a double, but that's an 11, so it's a single for Popovich. A 1-out single for Popovich. He will be held because he runs pretty decently, but they just won't try any steals, but he will be held. And now we'll go to the Cubs bench for Adrian Garrett. Not very good against lefties, but he's got some hits against righties. So Adrian Garrett is coming on to pinch hit for the pitcher Locker. And we'll go with Adrian Garrett. Capra to Garrett. 2-8, and that's a strikeout for out number 2. So Garrett is out of there. And now we'll need a new pitcher for the Cubs in the bottom, the top of the 13th if it goes there. Here is, well, it's not Cardinal, it's Rick Monday. What am I doing? Cardinal trying to bat out of turn. It's actually Rick Monday with 2 outs and a runner at first. Capra to Monday. 2-5, and that is going to be a single. There's a clutch there, but there's no runner in scoring position, so it's a single 1-star. And that'll put runners at first and second and keep the game going for Don Kessinger. Kessinger with a chance to get it done. The runner at second base rather, is Popovich. He runs out at 11. He will not be held. They don't want to take a chance of that getting through on the X chance. So Capra to Kessinger. The Cubs try to walk it off. 5-6 against the left-hander is a strikeout to end the inning. And we are going to the 13th inning. Still 1-1. And now I think I will take Kenyon's suggestion and actually stretch, since I've been sitting here for the whole game and not moved at all. Plus, we need a new pitcher for both teams because Capra is coming up in the order as well. It's going to be Hodges, Martinez, and a pinch hitter for the Mets. And the Cubs will need a new pitcher. And I think it's going to be, they use Locker, so now it's going to be Aker. Aker will be the new pitcher for the Cubs. Jack Aker, and he was 4-5, 4.13 ERA and 12 saves. So Aker is your pitcher here in the top of the 13th. It's going to be Hodges, Martinez, and then we need a pinch hitter. It looks like it's going to be the venerable one, Ed Kranepool, who will do the pinch hitting. So Ed Kranepool will pick up a bat and hit. depending on if they take the lead or not, whether we get McGraw or somebody else. So it's going to be Hodges, Martinez, and Cranepool here in the top of the 13th. So I'm going to stand up and stretch myself real quick just to alleviate the stiffness from sitting here so long. How long have we been going anyway? 80 minutes it says, according to this, so we'll see. Looks like focus might have gotten taken off just a touch, so hopefully that's better now. I don't know. We shall see. Tabby's nice and quiet. Thank you for all those who stuck around for all 12 innings up to now. We are now at inning 13. My score sheet has gone to pot because I ran out of room, so we're just going to wing it from here. Let's see if I need to. Everything seems to be okay on the as far as picking up everything. So that stretch helped out immensely. Locker's day is done, and coming up for the Mets, it'll be Ron Hodges. I'm sorry, not Hodges. He got pinch hit for by Hundley. What am I doing? Not by Hundley. Who pinch hit for him? Should be Dyer. Hundley's over there. Why do I have Hundley up here? I wrote something wrong up here. I don't know why. Maybe I never pinch. I don't think I ever pinch hit for Hodges. I think Hodges is still in the game. So I think I was right the first time. I got confused there. Hodges is still in the game. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. We'll get it straight. All right, we are ready to go. Jack Aker against Hodges to start the 13th. 5-8 against the lefty is a single. So leadoff single for Ron Hodges. Now they could pinch run for Hodges because they do have Dyer, the backup catcher. But you're also running out of pinch hitters if you go too much further because you only have Fregosi to go along with him. Fregosi runs at a 10. Dyer runs at a 10. So Hodges actually runs better than both of them. So to keep Hodges in the game, he will not be held. Ted Martinez is only a seat bunter. The corners are in. So they're going to wave off the bunt, but he's going to hit with the corners in against Aker. 1-5, and that is a single to left field. Single to left. And Hodges' slow running will hold at second base, but they have 2 on with nobody out. And Ed Cranepool, the batter. Or of course, we didn't want to pinch it with Cranepool. We could bring in somebody to bunt. Maybe a pitcher could come in and bunt. That could be an alternative. I didn't think about that earlier, but that could happen. Let me check their starting pitchers that are on the roster and see who they might want to bring in. Only problem is I don't know who the starting pitchers are on the roster right now, because all I was worried about was the bullpen. I'm assuming Seaver is still in there. He is an A bunter. So with 2 on and nobody out, boy, it's tempting to bring in a pitcher to bunt. But I think we'll exhaust our pinchers before we do that. So Cranepool will go ahead and hit. Infield is double play depth, but nobody out, nobody being held. Aker is your pitcher. That's a 5-4, and that is going to be a fly ball center field X. That is Rick Monday. He's a 2E10. 2 and a 3. This could be problematic. 2 and a 3 could be the break the Mets needed. A 2 and a 3 is an SI2, so that will score the run. The Mets take a 2-1 lead on the RBI pinch hit single by Ed Cranepool, and now they're glad they didn't bunt. That's a 14, and he is an E10. And on top of that, on top of everything else, that's a 14. Center fielder, E10, and a 14 is a 2-base error. So both runs will score, and the batter Cranepool will take third. So it's 3-1 in favor of the Mets with still nobody out. And now the infield's going to have to come in. So Rick Monday, a rare gaffe, but he has just not helped his team whatsoever. Now the runner at third, infield is in. They're going to have to be in. They don't have any chance if they're not in. Here's Willie Mays. And Tug McGraw is now loosening the pin, ready to come in for the Mets in the bottom of the 13. 2-5 for Mays is a strikeout. There's a clutch hit, but there aren't any outs yet, so there's no hit there. It's just a straight out strikeout for out number 1. But had there been 2 outs, that would have been a hit. Infield still in. Felix Mian. And of course, McGraw looking to get the save in the bottom of the 13th. Aker 1-6, and Mian's going to get a base hit. 16 is a single, so it's a RBI single. It is now 4-1 Mets as they've blown it open against Jack Aker. Here's Wayne Garrett. Two, 7, and that's a 1-3 double, but that's a 5, so it's a fly to center for out number 2. And that'll bring up Rusty Staub. Nothing going on there. Here's Aker to Staub, 3-3, and that's a ballpark single chance. 1-11. That's a 12 though, so it's a liner to second to end the inning. But 3 big runs here in the 13th inning for the Mets. They take a 4-1 lead into the bottom of the 13th, and you gotta believe that Tug McGraw is your new pitcher, as he is the new pitcher. Tug McGraw, new pitcher. So let's get McGraw out here. There he is. Tug McGraw, 5-6, 3.88 ERA and 25 saves. It is a save situation because it's only a 3-run deficit. So the save situation is there. And boy, with my score sheet being all messed up, I forgot who made the last out in the last inning for the Cubs. I'm thinking it was... Wow, I may have to go back and do a rewind on this because these cards got all together and my score sheet is all, I ran out of room with my score sheet, so I'm going to have to go back and look and see who it was that made the last out. So pardon me while I'm going to go back in my little viewing screen here and figure out who the last out was for the Cubs. Let's see if we can go back far enough here. Further back here, Kessinger is batting there with 2 outs. Did he make the final out? He did. So Kessinger was the last out. Okay, so at least we got that straight. So Kessinger is the last out from the previous inning. So we have Cardinal, Heiser, and Santo are your batters. Cardinal, Heiser, and Santo. My cards got all mixed up here. So let's get these straight here. So we got Cardinal, Heiser, and Santo. Those are the 3 that are coming up for the Cubbies here in the bottom of the 13th. So looks like my focus got way out of whack here. Hold on. Okay, let's try it better now. Hopefully that's better now. Tabby, calm, Tabby Cat. Okay, so I think we're ready to go now after that little snafu. But it is 4-1, and McGraw in to try to save it, facing heart of the order, Cardinal, Heiser, and Santo. Really nobody left on the bench for the Cubs to use as a pinch hitter other than James, and he's terrible. McGraw to Cardinal, 4-11 against the righties, a ground ball shortstop A, 1 away. Heiser, lefty on lefty, but they have no choice. You're gonna hope he gets that column 1 with all those walks. He didn't get column 3, and he ends up flying to center field on that 3-7. Fly to center. That's 2 quick outs. Last chance for the Cubbies is Ron Santo. Draw to Santo, 1-11. That's a ground ball to second. Mian has it, throws to first, and there's your ball game. Mets win it by the score of 4-1 in 13 innings. And I don't know the other totals because my score sheet, like I said, I run out of room and I stopped keeping track of hits and errors and all that stuff. But needless to say, what's important is the Mets win it by the score of 4-1 in 13 innings. They won the real game 2-1. Winning pitcher is Buzz Capra, and the save goes to Tug McGraw. Losing pitcher Jack Aker in relief, and maybe possibly the player of the game was Ed Kranepool. His pinch hit single, plus the error on top of it by Monday. But he hit the single that caused the error, and that's gives the Mets a 4-1 victory. Looking ahead to next Saturday, game of the week. Hopefully we'll be back on our normal noontime start. This was just a rare occasion to play it this late. We're going to be at County Stadium in Milwaukee as we switch back to American League and have two teams we have not seen yet. The Texas Rangers taking on the Milwaukee Brewers from Milwaukee. And the week after that, it's going to be the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Padres in San Diego. And then every team would have been covered at least once. And then the All-Star break will be at the All-Star break at that point for the All-Star game. So there's 4 teams that have not made the video yet. 2 of them are right here. And 2 of them next week will be the Cardinals and the Padres. But this time around, it is the Rangers and the Brewers. And don't know who the starting pitchers are because it's an American League game, so I don't have it on the lineup thing here. But Rangers and the Brewers from County Stadium in Milwaukee. Get your bratwurst ready, and we'll see what happens as it's the Brewers and the Rangers from County Stadium, and that will be the game next Saturday. Again, hopefully back at the normal noon time as usual. As far as the inside pitch 1967 replay goes, next game in that will be from Fenway Park in Boston. And it will be the, let me get my thing here. It will be the Kansas City A's taking on the Boston Red Sox. Catfish Hunter against Lee Stang. And then later on in the week it will be in Detroit, where the Orioles will take on the Tigers. Pete Rickard against Mickey Lolich. But those are the next 2 games in the 1967 inside pitch American League replay. But for Strat-O-Matic purposes, we have the Mets outlasting the Cubs 4-1 in 13 innings. And next week, of course, we will be in Milwaukee for the Rangers and the Brewers. So thank you for everyone who's stayed till the end of the game, put up with Tabby's shenanigans, and she still has shenanigans going on, I think. I'm not sure, but I think she does. There you go. Now you can get up there. The game's over now, so I don't care if you get up there now because the game's over. You can do what you want, Tabby. You can do what you want there, Tabby. I'll go and show her over here since we don't need to see the game board anymore. There's Tabby doing her thing. Of course, she doesn't want to look now. You want to look? You don't want to look, do you? You just want to make noise. You don't want to look. So there's Tabby, a little cameo. So that's going to do it from here. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend, whatever your plans are. Be safe out there. Of course, July 4th is coming up this Thursday, so if you have a 4-day weekend coming up, that's wonderful. I do have to work on Friday. I am off Thursday, but I work Friday. But you too, Mr. Gudeman. Take care, sir, and looking forward to your next 1969 game in Strat-O-Matic. As we're getting down to the pennant races in that, and always enjoy your broadcast. And of course, oh, Tabby just tried to, I was petting her and she just bit me. Can't believe that. Tabby, you don't do that. Why did you do that? Why did you bite me? Well, she's upset. She got her tail going and everything, so I better ixnay on the am-spray on that one and let that alone, because I don't want to face her wrath. So anyway, there's your final score: 4-1, 3 runs in the 13th inning for the Mets. Do it as they defeat the Cubs here on the NBC game of the week. It was June 30th in real world when it was played. Of course, it got played today on June 29th. So we'll be into July next weekend for the NBC game of the week in Milwaukee. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.